What's up, guys? This is the Minister of Beauty, and thank you so much for joining me for another video. This is Business Mondays with the Minister of Beauty, and I share the Bible that is business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So I wanted to share this because I was having a conversation with a friend. We went out to dinner, and we were talking about just focus and having blinders on. And it brought me back to a place many years ago. All right, so you all know, and for those of you who don't, who are new to the channel, I was a legal assistant for 12 years. And for 5.5 years of the beginning of my career as a legal assistant, I worked in a law firm. It was in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. And if you are not familiar with Charleston, it's a tourist town. It's a tourist town. And especially downtown Charleston, it's a very touristy area. And they have these horse and carriages that are out there. And so the carriages have people in them. And then you have the person that is the tour director. And then you have the horses that are carrying people. And the horses have these blinders on. And I remember I would look at these horses that would draw my attention, even though they were funky. I'm not even gonna lie, like they were funky. And if I was ever driving, I would always pray, God, please do not let me get behind one of these horses and carriages, because a lot of times they would not pull over so that you could go around, because the streets are, you know, they're very narrow. But that's neither here nor there. It just is what it is. But anyway, the horses would have these blinders on. And the reason they had the blinders on was for safety, so that the horses could just focus on that straight path ahead, because that horse is responsible for carrying all of these people that are in this carriage, right? And we don't want to have the horse running off and going crazy and then an accident happens and whatever. So the horses have the blinders on. And I used to always see that, and I was young back then. I started working in a law firm like right out of high school and was not familiar with horses. But anyway, I saw the horses, they had the blinders on, and then I learned later on why that was, right? And now being a business owner and just having the experiences that I have had, especially being someone that is an entrepreneur in the beauty industry, which I say all the time, the beauty industry can be very, very ugly. It has been important for me to keep my focus on what I am doing and not looking around at what other people do. I'm not saying you can't be inspired by somebody that came before you or those different types of things. Of course, I have been inspired by others who have been in the industry that are just, you know, very well known, that you've heard of, that almost everyone may have heard of, or maybe someone that may be, you know, lower key that not everyone is familiar with, but they are there, right? And so, but when it comes to the competition, which I don't have, my competition looks at me in the mirror. When I look in the mirror, that person looking back at me, the person I'm seeing right now looking in this camera, that's my competition. I don't look at other people as my competition, because I also feel that what is for me is for me, and what God has designed for me to have, I will have it. I have to work for it, of course. It's not going to fall into my lap, but it is designed for me. And so competing with others is unnecessary. But oftentimes you may hear people saying, you need to know what your competition is doing. You need to check out the competition. And I remember many years ago, there was someone that used to be a friend. She was someone that wanted to rent a space in my business location, and I allowed her to do so for a period of time. She and I were not in business together. She was just a friend at the time. And she made a comment about checking out other businesses to see what they're doing. And I said, well, I'm not interested in doing that because I don't think it's relevant for me. I am who I am. My business offers what it offers, and it doesn't matter to me what someone else is doing, how much they're charging for it. None of those things matter. So I said, so if you want to do that, you're welcome to do it, but it's just not something that I want to do. that may have turned her off a bit. I wasn't trying to make her feel guilty, but I was just letting her know I wasn't down for that game. And I know, people play that, because I used to have, back in the day, even though I had a website, but, people would come in and act like they were, interested in services. Yeah, I just wanted to see what you offer. I'm just like, yeah, right. Okay, sure. But it doesn't matter. Like, if you feel like you need to do that, then do that. But seeing those horses with the blinders on, that was for safety and protection, and to keep the focus on the path and the direction that they were going in, the horse, the rider of the horse, or whatever you call that person, and all of the people that are in the carriage. So keeping blinders on is truly essential. Focus on where you are going, where you want to go, the destination that you have before you, not looking to the right or the left. Think of it also when you are driving a car. When you're driving, yeah, you may have to glance to make sure if you need to get over or get off of an exit or get onto an entrance of an interstate or something like that. You need to make sure the way is clear, of course, for you to get, in those lanes. But when you're driving, you keep your focus forward. You don't look to the right or to the left while you're driving, even constantly looking in the rearview mirror, because if you're constantly looking in the rearview mirror when you're driving forward, it can cause you to be in an accident. So it's truly essential to just keep your blinders on so that you will not endanger yourself in any way, endanger your business, trying to copy what someone else is doing because you feel like, well, if it's working for them, then it should work for me. You don't know what people had to go through to get to where they are. You don't know how long they may have been doing what they're doing. Some people lie and say they've been doing things for a short period of time when they've actually been working at it a whole lot longer, and then it's just finally working for them. And then sometimes things may have kicked off for someone a lot sooner than it did for you, but you also don't know the background story. So you constantly just have to remember that, remind yourself that for my safety, for my protection, it is best and beneficial that I keep my blinders on so that I can keep my focus forward and not looking at what anyone is doing to the right of me or to the left of me, just continuing to press forward and looking forward so that I can move forward. And I hope that makes sense. I really was just so stirred up when we started talking about the blinders, and I just said, I remember when I was working in those, working in that environment and working in that area of town where they had the horse and carriages and the horses had the blinders on, and being at that time a very, very young adult and not being, aware of what all of that was for and what that meant, and then learning about it later and then having the conversation about it many years later, it just really got my spirit stirred up, and I just wanted to talk about that, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I hope you are encouraged to keep your blinders on and not focus on what anyone is doing to the right of you or to the left of you or even behind you. Just keeping your focus on going forward in your life and in your business, because remember, your journey is your own and you have to own it so that you can learn the lessons that you need to learn to receive the prosperity that belongs to only you. So guys, I really appreciate you watching this video, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I am the Minister of Beauty, and as always, I share the Bible that is business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So until the next time, I hope you all have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.